Nail Swag, and today I did the February issue of Nailpro with my Queen of Hearts nails. Thank you!
Hey everyone, this is Stephanie and I'm here with Natalie, aka Nail Swag, and we're going to be talking about the nails for the February cover.
Hi, thank you for having me.
For this cover, we wanted to do a take on Valentine's Day nails, but you wanted to do something a little bit different than the average cutesy heart nails. How did you come up with this concept?
I wanted it to be more of an adult Valentine's Day. I mean, of course, pinks are cute and purples, and that's very classic Valentine's Day, but sultry red is kind of sexy.
These nails are all about the art, so to begin, you had to create a beautiful canvas to set the stage for them. Tell us about how you did that.
So I did clear gel extensions. First I put on clear tips and I glued those on. Then I buffed the tip and I actually buffed the nail as well, just a little bit, not a lot. You don't want to dig too deep into the nail. It can cause little divots in it. So lightly buffed, then I applied my base gel. I do 2 layers of base gel to really make sure that it's adhered well to the nail plate. And then 2, maybe 3 coats of clear hard gel. And I usually do kind of on the thicker side because you can always file down, but if you don't have enough, it has the potential to break. So 2 or 3 coats of hard gel, and then afterwards you buff it, and then you can lay your base gel on again, 1 more layer after that, and then you're ready for your art.
The thing about these designs is that it's all made up of super clean lines. So let's talk about the sort of fishnet looking nail where it's all crisscrosses. What are the tips that you use?
Well, first things first is you have to get the right brush and you have to use the right gels. If you're not using an art gel, which is usually like a non-viscous hyper pigmented gel, you'll do much better lines than if you're using a not as pigmented and thicker and maybe like, a gel that's really viscous, it spreads. So you can't do detail work. And then of course the brush as well. The brush is really important. I use a really, really, really tiny brush. It's maybe like 1 millimeter thick. If that, it's probably like 10 hairs, but that really helps me a lot. And, of course, practicing it every day. For a while, I was just doing straight lines just so I could really master that, because for me, that was a really important part of mastering nail art in general, was kind of mastering the geometry of it. Those are my recommendations.
Do you have any advice for hand positioning when you are working with these thin lines?
So in all of my classes that I teach, we teach a concept called the fulcrum finger, which I call it the steering wheel of nail art. And what that is you have your client's hand, probably in your left hand. If you're left-handed, then in your right hand, holding that client's hands, and you use your dominant hand's pinky to balance your line work and any painting that you do. If you have your hand just willy-nilly out in the air, you're going to shake. It's going to be uneven and it's not going to look as precise. But when you use your fulcrum finger, it sort of balances and it positions your nail art and your hands. And this is, for me, I've learned this in the beginning, and it seriously has helped me so much throughout my whole entire career so far. I think it really is like my main guidance in nails.
One of my other favorite nails is the one with the negative space heart. That can be difficult when you are creating the initial outline of that heart because oftentimes the actual negative space can be too small. Can you talk about how you make sure that that heart gets to be the right size?
So for any negative space, I actually like to start out pretty big, because if you start out big, you can always make it smaller. But if it's too small, you have to start over with everything. So yeah, I started out pretty big. I think with those in particular, I made sure that the arches at the top of the heart were kind of hitting close to the sidewalls of the nail. That way you could really tell that it was a heart. And then of course, after finishing off that, I kind of, fixed my edges a little bit, made it even, made sure that it was symmetrical. And then, when you outline that heart, that's when it really pops. So I made sure to outline that in black.
When working with art gels, how often are you curing? Are you curing in between each line, in between each section? Does it depend on the design?
With a good art gel, you don't have to cure between lines at all. You can actually do a full, like for instance, the grid nail, I didn't cure in between even the horizontal and vertical lines. I did the horizontal, then the vertical, then I cured.
One of the other elements on these nails were embellishments. You used some studs. How did you apply those and get them to stick?
So I'm maybe not very traditional in how I put my studs and diamonds on because a lot of people want the diamond to really shine. And by doing that, you can't put gel over the diamonds or the studs, but I do. Because for me, I would rather have a set that lasts the entirety until they come back to me rather than have all these gems pop off. And I just feel like it doesn't look as good in the long run. So for me, I painted my art and then I applied a really thin layer of hard gel. I placed my gems, and what's nice about the hard gel is that it's really thick, so your studs won't really move. They're not going to like shift in any way. And then I cure that for 30 seconds to a minute, depends on your hard gel. And then I come back and I put another layer of hard gel over my studs and my diamonds.
Each of these nails were highlighted with a very thin line around the perimeter. That has got to be difficult. How do you recommend doing that?
I use my liner brush, my really, really small liner brush, for most of my nail art, even to fill spaces in. I want it to be very precise. So I use my liner brush for that, and I kind of use the edge of my liner brush, actually. I don't do the tip because when you're working with a contoured surface, the ends of the brush can actually fray a little bit, and that can cause little divots when you're doing your outline. So I try to use the side, and I mean, of course, if you're starting out, like, do a thicker outline. It's easier to do, and instead of doing a thinner one, and then kind of work your way out. And I mean, practicing it a lot helps too. I have these little practice nails. They're just little plastic tips, and I just mess around and try new techniques on there, and that really, really helps because when you get to your client, you're at least a little bit comfortable on how to do it and how to approach their nails.
I think a lot of nail technicians who aren't super familiar with creating a lot of art and embellishments on their nails are now starting to get into it because their clients are starting to ask for it. But I think one of the biggest things is they don't know how to price this. They're afraid of, setting the prices too high, so they give a lot of stuff away for free. How do you recommend pricing? What do you do when you're creating something like a look that you did for the cover, or even if you're just adding, a gemstone? How do you work that into the price of the set?
For me, it's more so about how much time I've used on that manicure. I'm definitely not a cheap manicurist, but I don't think I'm an expensive one either. My prices range anywhere from $65 to $160, but it really just depends on the length and how much time was used and how much embellishments were used. I kind of round about it. I mean, for those who are starting out, I will say this: don't undervalue yourself because it hurts our industry. And I think it's important to value yourself, even just for you, because you need to make it worth your while and your time. Like, I heard a story the other day of a girl who was doing a house call gel manicure with nail art for $20. And I kind of lost it because it shows customers that that's okay when it's not. And I mean, that can't even cover your gas, or hardly, So, I mean, if you're doing gels, you can automatically mark it up to at least, just base color, just one color, automatically $45, I think. And then from there, you work your way up and you do what's comfortable for you.
So thank you so much, Natalie, for coming by and doing an amazing set of nails. I think that our readers are really going to enjoy seeing your style on the cover, and definitely something that their clients will want to have on their nails.
Thank you so much for having me.
you.